In the wake of the absolute shitstorm that is happening on the internet world when these New Japan, the New Beginning in US shows announced the cards, absolute shitstorm happened on the internet, on the Twitter world, of people complaining, going, why, damn it, why is these shows so bad? And those people are very dumb, and I'm going to explain why here, and just simply put, quickly, if you buy tickets to a show that has no card announced, you have nothing to blame but yourselves for being so incompetent and so just trigger happy to buy these tickets. That's on you. See, the tickets, they're still available. A lot of these tickets are still available before the show is even run, even when the card is announced. Maybe if everybody else waited, this wouldn't have happened. But here we go. Okay, so the Road to the New Beginning shows are happening pretty much the same time as these New Beginning US shows. As you can see, the 30th and 29th happening here for the end of the Road to show of the New Beginning shows. So, do people all over Twitter are just asking for the New Japan guys, basically Japanese people. So, okay, you want Japan people. Okay, so you want people who wrestled on the 29th and 30th to fly to California. So that's about a 9.5 hour flight. Wrestle maybe 2 shows, the 30th and the 1st, to the United States to wrestle the February 1st. So these Road to the New Beginning shows, the cards were announced on the 8th of January. So we know that on the 29th, as we'll let it load here, main event is Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kushida. Kushida's farewell match. Awesome match. Fucking going to be awesome to see Kushida and Tanahashi dream match happening. Sure, it's going to be very sad. Kushida's leaving. We kind of saw it coming, you know. He never was the heavyweight guy. He wanted to be something more than the junior ace. So he's going to get that opportunity elsewhere. Probably, unless he's just going to be a 205 Live guy forever. But it's been talks, he's going to NXT. So there's that. Going to be an NXT guy. So you want all these people, all these Japanese fellas. And Chase Owens, there's an American guy. Jay White, New Zealand guy. And, Fale, that's Zack Sabre Jr., UK guys. All these guys to get on a plane, and all the guys wrestling on the 30th. All here. Okay, Sonata, so again, some more guys from the 29th show. Pretty much, yes, basically everybody from that same tour, since it's just the same tour. So everybody from this tour, this Road to the New Beginning show, to arrive here in the U.S. 12 hours if they're flying East Coast, so let's see this North Carolina show, this Tennessee, that might be 10-hour flight. To fly there, wrestle, then fly right back to wrestle for the New Beginning and Sapporo shows that are happening on the 2nd and the 3rd. Okay, so you want them to basically be jet-lagged to hell just because you were stupid enough to buy tickets to a show that wasn't announced. Okay, also, these New Beginning in US shows, they are not going to be on New Japan World. So you are getting a house show. So you want guys to fly 10+ hours for shows that are not going to be aired anywhere, just for your enjoyment. So dumb. And now, of course, New Japan made a statement that the shows wanted to have New Japan guys on them, but because of visa issues. They shouldn't even been on the card to begin with to have a visa issue. They shouldn't even been booked. There's no way. There's no way this should have been done. The scheduling is absolute madness for a guy to wrestle here on the 29th and 30th show, fly back to the United States, and then fly back to Japan. Basically fly 20+ hours just for a house show. That's dumb. Makes no sense. No way in hell. So, this show, there's going to be a lot of the guys that work in the U.S. dojo in Los Angeles. Jonathan Gresham, a bunch of Ring of Honor guys. I mean, there's some talent on this show. I have Brody King, Jonathan Gresham, Jeff Cobb, Hot Sauce, Stacey Williams, there we go. Rocky Romero, poor guy. Everyone's talking about, we want New Japan guys. Rocky Romero's been there for 14 fucking years, since 2005, and he still gets no credit at all. And then everyone's just like, we want Japan guys, we want Japan guys. Well, and seeing, where's Will Ospreay on this tour? Ospreay's been booked at World of Sport in the UK for months now, so he wasn't going to be on these shows. I don't believe Ishii's on any of these shows, actually, so a lot of people be like, well, Ishii could have been on these shows. Yeah, sure. Sure, he could have been. Visa issues, though. But also, too, let's not forget, New Japan now is down basically 7 guys. They lost Omega, Cody, the Bucks, Hangman Page, and even Kota Ibushi with his minor concussion, and Kushida. So you have 7 guys gone from the New Japan roster. So there's a little dents in the talent roster. So now you're dealing with a less roster. A lot of young lions still. They still haven't came back from excursion either. Hiro Kawada hasn't came back, or any of the other guys. You have... I don't know what people expected. You were expecting way too much. Way too much. These U.S. shows, whenever you see them announced, immediately think, if it's a tour, immediately think of a house show. I mean, it's a B-level house show. That's basically what these are, and that's what New Japan wants them to be. Their main focus is Japan, and it should always be the main focus, Japan. And Americans, they can't stand that. I don't know why. I don't know why people want to be the center of attention for America and to have this New Japan experience in America. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. They cannot have a Korakuen Hall feeling. They can't have a fucking Osaka Joe Hall feeling. They can't have a big-time show of a Tokyo Dome status. That's not going to happen. It will not happen. It's impossible. Okay? And the quicker people realize that, the quicker they will not be let down. This is not a New Japan problem. It's not. And it is, I'll say, actually, take that back. It's a New Japan problem from thinking that this expansion into the U.S. is going to work, because there's no way this is going to work. Scheduling problems are going to hinder a lot of these shows. They want to keep on running them like this, back-to-back between a Road to and an actual New Beginning show, or, let's say they try to do this later on for the G1, type of thing, where just guys are getting booked to hell. They're having a crazy schedule because of these U.S. shows. It's no point. It's no point. Because people are just going to complain that's not a New Japan show. It's not going to feel like a New Japan show, because of course not. There hasn't been one New Japan and U.S. show where I've been like, damn, that felt like a New Japan show. Not one of them. And it's never going to happen. There's no way. Okay, there's just going to be too many fucking Americans there. It's going to ruin the feel. It's going to ruin everything of what New Japan is and should be. Because it's not. The U.S. shows for New Japan are not. They're basically Ring of Honor shows. Don't know why it's taking so long for people to understand this. And why people want a New Japan show in the U.S. It's not going to happen. Buy a plane ticket, fly your ass to Japan, and buy tickets for that. If you want a New Japan show, that's the way to go. You will get your New Japan experience 1,000%, no problem. You'll be in Japan. You'll be surrounded by Japanese people, watching Japanese people wrestle. There you go. It's not going to happen in the U.S. It's not going to happen. They're going to book a bunch of Americans. They're going to book a bunch of guys from their U.S. dojo. They're going to book a bunch of Ring of Honor guys. That way they'll be, and here, the Honor Rising in Japan shows are happening. That's going to be a bunch of Ring of Honor guys, because, of course, it's a Ring of Honor New Japan show. So, they're going to book these Ring of Honor guys here on this tour to build up so they can get a little bit more experience before they get onto the Honor Rising show, which is the 22nd and 23rd. They're getting 2 shows. Then those cards haven't been announced either. So, that is my rant for the day. Just understand, this expansion into the U.S. by New Japan will never work. Was not going to work. It never will work. Because people want that New Japan product, and you can't take that out of New Japan. And you can't take that out of Japan. You just can't. It's not gonna happen. It feels different. It's not the same feeling. It's a different atmosphere. It's gonna be different circumstances. It's gonna be a lot more Americans on the show, and even there is a lot of gaijins on these New Japan shows to begin with. It's almost 50% gaijins. So that's kind of... And instead now it's going to be like 99% on these New Beginning US shows. For the people I've been seeing where they bought over $100 worth of, tickets and driving there and hotels and whatnot, that's on you. That's not on New Japan. Okay, you bought those tickets, you bought that fucking plane tickets, you bought the hotels before the card was announced. It's your problem. And you can't accept the fact that you were dumb enough to make that mistake. Back to the positive things, though, as not really going to talk about the shows too much. The New Beginning and US shows, they're not going to be on New Japan World. The only way you're going to watch them is if you're there at the show, so kind of no point of talking about them. But these New Beginning and Sapporo shows, they're looking pretty good. Nothing crazy so far I've seen, but we'll talk about that at the preview later on in the month. But I just want to get that off my chest because people are dumb, and I need to be a little bit more educated and expect the worst. Expect the worst when it comes to these US shows, people. I'm just begging you. You'll be better off in the long run. Trust me. And there's nothing they can do to make this up. Alright, the visa issues, the scheduling issues, not being on New Japan World, these shows were doomed from the start.